Sorry, guys. Give me a minute. Let me set up. Sorry, guys. I'm filming simultaneously on different channels. So it's going to take me a little bit of time to set up properly. So give me a second. Give me a second. I'm coming. Coming, guys. If you're watching on YouTube, you're watching on Facebook, I'm just setting up for the first time I'm doing this, right? So I'm almost ready. Almost ready. Almost ready. Thank you for your patience and thanks for watching. Bam, here we are. We're live. We're live. We're live. We're live. Thank you. Go live. So Facebook is sorted. Um, YouTube is sorted. I am ready. But for now, let me play this short clip of Gambia's Minister of Justice, where he is already showing bias in terms of how they intend to proceed with a commission that I deem to be highly controversial, definitely illegal in respect of any findings arrived at against the president of the Gambia, the former president of the Gambia. So whatever conclusions that this TRRC has made is directly in confrontation with the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. So therefore, I am saying that the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission of the Gambia is engaged in a totally illegal war, not against the president, former president of the Gambia, President Jammeh, but against the laws of the Republic of the Gambia. Gambia has a constitution which constitutionally or clearly stated several ways and manners in which the law should be enforced, the public should be looked after. So you listen to the Justice Minister of the Gambia for a minute, and he is the second Justice Minister since Barrow came to power. But he is as bad as the previous Justice Minister. Basically, what the two of them are doing is ignoring Gambia's constitutional provisions because they don't like President Jammeh. They want to break the law in order to enforce the law. And that is not acceptable as far as jurisprudence is concerned. I will discuss the Constitution of the Gambia and the two most important provisions in it that rendered the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission illegal as far as findings against the military junta of 1994 to 1996 and President Jammeh from 1996 to 2017 are concerned. Those provisions outlaw, they prohibit any sort of commission being set up against the head of state, any commission being set up against the military junta. For now, listen to Gambia's Justice Minister and what he said. I'm going to cut him short. I've listened to his interview and I want to analyze it so that the general public will understand. All right? So you guys listen to the Minister of Justice of the Republic of the Gambia, who is as bad as the previous Minister of Justice of the Republic of the Gambia. I am going to be discussing Gambia's Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. The name itself is wrong from the beginning because what they're doing now has got absolutely nothing to do with reconciliation. And it's got absolutely nothing to do with the truth. What they should have named this commission as is Reparation Commission because they started paying people who claim to be victims of the Jammeh government, even before the findings of the commission were finalized, even before the recommendations were made, even before the white paper was published. The so-called Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission was paying the so-called victims. People who claim to be victims were paid even before the conclusion of the public hearings, even before recommendations were written, even before the white paper was issued by the Barrow government. Now, that sets the tone for what I'm about to discuss today. And what I'm going to discuss today is got nothing to do with my opinion. It's got to do with constitutional provisions of the Republic of the Gambia. It's got to do with the principles of law and its application in every Commonwealth jurisdiction. This is not Gambia. It's not isolated. In any country where people have moral fiber, in any country where people believe in true justice, clean, open, transparent justice. What transpired in the Gambia between 2017 and yesterday, the 25th of May, 2022, is nothing short of fraudulent, nothing short of vengeful, nothing short of a campaign, a witch hunt exercise against the former president of the Republic of the Gambia. The irony is, of course, that the former president of the Republic of the Gambia is the best president we've had in Gambia's history. 434 years of failure was corrected, was rectified, was buried. Yes, indeed, Gambia was dark before 1994. Literally, the person who lifted that dark cloud off the head of Gambians, the majority of Gambians, the 2 million Gambians. And yes, again, I'll come to this topic because President Jammeh came and shattered all that class and caste culture that was in the Republic of the Gambia. He ensured the poor child who grew up in a hut, the poor child who was born in a remote village, he ensured that poor child had similar, exactly the same opportunities as the children of the wealthy, the powerful. I'll come to that in a minute. Listen to Gambia's Justice Minister. Let me get myself a drink because I just finished work and rushed in to be able to have this Facebook Live. So this Facebook Live is streaming simultaneously on Facebook and it's also on YouTube. So I know Facebook is fighting against Pan-Africans like myself. It's fighting against anything that says Africa must unite and trade fairly with the outside world, something which should have been happening. But as we know, since the war in Ukraine started, the West and all the foreign powers who were exploiting Africa, looting Africa, maltreating Africans have been exposed. They found out that, we found out that all these people have been preaching democracy, free press, freedom of expression, fairness, openness, transparency was nothing but a tool to restrain Africans, to subjugate Africa, to ensure Africa never really grows to fulfill its potential. But now, I don't want to go into the Russia-Ukraine war or the geopolitics of the West versus the East or the battle between two ideological dispositions in the West, between Russia's and the West. I don't want to go into that today. Today's exercise will be 100% focused on the illegal commission that was set by Adama Barrow government to investigate President Jammeh against the provisions of the Gambian constitution. And this is very important. Barrow has taken the Gambian constitution, shredded it, and bent it. But the wide ramifications, the far-reaching consequences of Barrow taking such action will be exposed today for the whole world to know. For the benefit of my viewers, I'm going to introduce myself, the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparation Commission, who the players are, who are involved, how the commission was constituted, how the commission conducted its business until yesterday, the 25th of May, 2022, when the white paper, government white paper, was published for the general consumption of the public, locally, domestically, regionally, internationally. Listen to Gambia's Justice Minister for 2-3 minutes. Let me get myself something to drink to make this Facebook Live a little bit more fluid, to make this YouTube Live a little bit more coherent. I need to get a good voice to be able to do this. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back in a minute or two. Listen to Gambia's Justice Minister's perverted explanations of what the commission is all about. Thank you.
You have just released the white paper. So, does the Gambian judiciary have the capacity to prosecute all those who have been indicted?
Yes, for some of the offenses, yes, because we already have some of them in our penal code. Things like straight out murder, they can be prosecuted. But we don't want the piecemeal approach to this. So that is why I talked about setting up a special chamber that will take a holistic approach of all the offenses so that they deal with them in wholesome.
Jammeh currently lives in exile in Equatorial Guinea. How do you intend to bring him to justice?
There are many ways of trying to get Jammeh. You know, some of the offenses Jammeh is accused of, some of them enjoy universal jurisdiction. So he could be prosecuted for them anywhere in the world. That's one way. So, but then the kind of tribunal we intend to set up also will have an international jurisdiction. We will create a statute for that. So there will be an enabling statute that will vest that court with a universal jurisdiction as well. So he could be either tried in the Gambia or outside of the Gambia, but this is something that is to be determined as a result of further consultations.
Most of the people who committed these crimes, the junglers, they live outside of the jurisdiction. Are there any plans to also bring those people to justice?
You know, nowadays, nobody can hide from justice. Wherever they are, once the preparations are ready, once we are ready to go after them, wherever they are in the world, they will be got. You heard us mention about the prosecution of Michael Korea in the US. Usman Sonko is being prosecuted in Switzerland. Whoever taught Germany will be prosecuting by law. So wherever they are in the world, the long arm of justice will reach them.
Out of the 265 recommendations, they were all accepted except two. What are those two that were rejected by the government?
One of the two is the recommendation made against a group of judges that the TRRC considered to be mercenary judges. We rejected that from a public policy point of view because we have a bilateral relationship with our sister countries where these judges came from. And also because Jammeh used the judiciary, there is no doubt about that. But then it was not only foreign judges that were culprits of these activities. There were some local judges and magistrates maybe that were part of it. So to identify only non-Gambians and call them mercenary judges risk, compromising our bilateral relationship with some of the countries where these nationals came from. So from the public policy point of view, we do not accept banning them. More so, none of them are in the Gambia at the moment. So what does banning them from public service serve? What purpose does it serve? So we said for expediency, in the interest of our bilateral relationship with our sister countries, who have always stood by us in giving us technical assistance in areas that we have needed the most, whether it is health, education, judiciary, legal sector, they have always provided us with technical assistance. So we don't want to risk jeopardizing those bilateral relationships. So as a result, we do not accept that one.
In total, how many people are going to face prosecution here?
We're still counting, to be honest. On the face of it, it appears to us TRRC recommended prosecution of about 69, but later we found out that it could be more than that. But mark you, we may not probably have to prosecute everybody. You know, there is a prosecution strategy that we are working on, and that strategy will inform who will be prosecuted and who else we may probably enter a plea bargain with and negotiate with them. Of course, some of them, in fact, have been recommended for amnesty. So not all of them will be prosecuted. I do not know the exact number at this stage because, like I said, the prosecution strategy is evolving.
Why did you deny?
Okay, so according to Gambia's Justice Minister, some people who were found wanting by the commission have been exonerated. They've been removed. The recommendations for the two judges that sat during Jammeh's time, I believe both of them are Nigerians. Those judges will not be found wanting again. The recommendations that those judges be tried for being used will be put aside. So because those judges come from countries that had bilateral relationships with the Gambia, so if you believe that they committed crimes, again, this is a hallmark of Barrow government. We've seen Barrow government free pedophiles here because of pressure from their friends. All right? We've seen Barrow government free rapists here, and they ran away because Barrow government thought they're friends with Senegal, and Senegal is in turn the little lapdog of France. Senegal carries out all of France's dirty work in Africa, especially Gambia. So Barrow government was renowned, or is renowned, for freeing pedophiles and murderers and rapists. We've seen that happen time and time again. Okay, that's documented, well written. So now here's the same commission which set recommendations to get these judges tried for what they accuse them of being mercenary judges. Basically, what the Justice Minister is saying that Jammeh used the judiciary. If he was competent or if he was precise, what he wanted to say was Jammeh abused the judiciary, something that the Barrow government is being accused of at the same time. All right, but let's go back to the commission, TRRC. Let me introduce this to people who are not familiar with it. Okay, let me introduce the Truth, Anything But the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission. So what is it? It's been set up by Parliament. the National Assembly of the Republic of the Gambia in 2017 passed an act, a Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission Act. All right. The act was supposed to investigate the occurrences of Gambia government between 22 July 1994 and the 21st of January 2017, the exact days that President Jammeh was in office. Nothing else. They are not interested in any other period. All right. So that act is legislation passed by Parliament. And that legislation, like many other pieces of legislation or any other piece of legislation for that matter, should not clash with the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia is the supreme law of the land. Therefore, any law passed has to be consistent with constitutional provisions. Now, the Truth, Reparation, or the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, whichever R comes first, it doesn't matter, was set up, and it should be such that at no particular point of that legislation should clash with the Constitution. If it clashed with the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia at any point, that particular part of the legislation would be rendered null and void. That's a legal precedent, because a constitution is a supreme law of the land. Gambia has a written codified constitution which was passed by a referendum of a vote of more than 75% of Gambians, voting age Gambians. This constitution was voted on in August 1996, and it became the law of the land, the supreme law of the land. Any other legislation that was passed after the 1st of January 1997 had to be consistent with the codified written constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. What's the constitution? If you don't know what a constitution is, it's simply a document that is written. Some countries have a codified constitution, some countries don't have codified constitutions. Some countries have got written constitutions, some don't have written constitutions. My firm belief is that every country has got a written constitution, but some countries' constitution is codified, some are not codified. What's the difference? The difference is a codified constitution comes about because they set a body, an institution, a group of people, intellectuals, legal luminaries, to sit one place and go through a format, a system of putting together all the important pieces of legislation of the country. Once they have done this, they put it in a document or a set of documents that will be recognized by everyone, nationally or internationally, as the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, once it's been passed the test of legality. And the test of that legality could be referendum, could be parliament. It depends on the orientation of the legal institution or the legislature of a country. Some countries go lower houses and they've got upper houses. House of Commons, House of Lords. House of, what do you call it? In the United States, what do you call it? House of Representatives, Senate. So many countries have got their own ways of passing legislation. All right. So Gambia has a codified written constitution, or a written codified constitution, where a group of legal heads sat together, went through a systematic process of putting together a document or a set of documents that will be regarded as the supreme law of the land. That document was passed in August 1996, voted on by over 75% of voting age Gambians in 1996. And then the constitution came into effect on the 1st of January 1997. So therefore, any law that's passed in the Gambia by parliament or by any other means should comply with the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. It should at no point injure any provision in our 1997 Constitution. And Gambia's 1997 Constitution is one of the best written pieces of constitution in the sub-region. Yeah, one of the best written constitutions, no doubt about it. Whether the amendments were done that suited the government at the time, again, if those amendments were done via parliament and they were done legally, fair enough. Every government passes legislation, every government amends legislation. If the Jammeh's APRC government did the same, fair enough. As long as it's been done through parliament, we can wail all we want. I don't like the insurance laws. I don't like the immigration laws. I don't like the hunting ban laws. I don't like some environmental laws. That does not make them illegal. The laws are not passed to satisfy individual interests. The law should be passed to satisfy the interests of the public. But before you pass those laws, you have to ensure those laws comply with the supreme law of the land. In Gambia's case, that's the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Okay? So therefore, any other law that was passed should not breach the Constitution. What does a Constitution do? A Constitution is created to regulate the way public bodies, the government operates. It also regulates the way the government and its institutions operate. It also regulates how the government institutions and the general public relate. That's a constitution in a nutshell. It's not a Bible, it's not the Quran, it's not a Torah. It's been created by mankind, human beings, so that government can operate properly, legally, without restraint from the general public or people who want to cause mischief. All right. It also regulates, tells the government how it should operate with its institutions. How should Gambia government operate with GAMTEL? How should Gambia government operate with the Ministry of Fisheries? How should Gambia government operate with Gambia Revenue Authority? On top of that, or in addition, the Constitution sets standards or rules or parameters within which institutions should relate with the general public who put them there in the first place. So GAMTEL cannot just turn to me, a Gambian citizen, and say, you cannot have telecommunications in your house because you're black. You cannot have telecommunications in your house because you're a village boy. You cannot have telecommunications in your house because of X, Y, and Z. That's what the Constitution does. It sets the way the government operates, the government's relationship with the institutions' relationships with the general public, and every other thing that is administered publicly. That's what a constitution is. So Gambia's 1997 Constitution states, pay attention, ladies and gentlemen, this is very important. The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, the supreme law of the land, states in no uncertain terms, and this is where the TRRC began to abrogate the Constitution, to overthrow the Constitution, a treasonable act. And we must not lay idly by and allow a group of self-centered, egocentric, supposed to be legally minded people just turn our Constitution upside down because the subject of conversation, the former President of the Republic of the Gambia, His Excellency, Sir Professor Alhaji Dr. Yahya AJJ Jammeh, is the target. We must not allow that, ladies and gentlemen. Our Constitution should be treated as a sacred document. No matter who is the subject of conversation, no matter the hate, no matter how much crimes that person is alleged to have committed or how many crimes they've committed, no matter how much evidence you have against the person, the laws of the land should be applied equally. We should never at any point change what was enacted in public interest as a personal instrument for rebuke, for ridicule, for vengeance, for any other matter that is driving the interest of a few, driving the interest of one individual. You know what's going to happen? It's going to come back and haunt the same people who are basically setting precedents. Pay attention to the word precedents in this presentation because it's very important. It'll become crucial to my discussion today. We should never ever at any point change our laws because Mr. Lamin Tamba is the most hated person in the Gambia. A president and a farmer have the same rights as soon as they step in that dock at court to face charges of stealing a mango. If the president stole a mango, he will face theft, just like a farmer who stole a mango. If President Jammeh is taken to court for alleged crimes of killing people, if Usainu Dabo, the leader of UDP, is taken to court, they will face the same process if Usainu Dabo is accused of killing people. The fundamental principles of law are the same, and all common law jurisdictions apply the law exactly the same way. Several common law jurisdictions will not send their president or prime minister to court because their police forces, their secret services, and all other institutions have engaged in illegal activity. You deal with the individuals that are responsible. That way, you set an example to ensure that next time the president or whoever claimed to have given them the orders to go and commit illegality, the people say, no, I'm not going to do it because it's illegal. So therefore, the people who committed the crime will think twice before they commit the next crime. But let's go back again to the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. The laws must not change because we don't like President Jammeh. The laws must not change because we don't like Adama Barrow. Again, Barrow and his advisors are making a grave mistake. Barrow's advisors are digging a deep hole for Barrow himself. I'll get to that in a minute. I'll get to Section 69 of the 1997 Constitution in a minute. I'm starting from the military junta, and then I'll end up at Section 69 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Very important. So when the TRRC Act was passed by Parliament, Parliament didn't do anything wrong. What the Commission should have said, or should have done, and the Justice Minister at the time, Batambedu, should have said, we have constitutional provisions that are covering President Jammeh, and we have constitutional provisions that are insulating the military junta of 1994 to 1996. Therefore, we are limited, the commissioner of, or the chairman of the commission, or the chief executive officer of the commission, we are limited by what we can investigate, and those limitations are applied by the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. The 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia is the supreme law of the land. Nobody should be tampering with that constitution unless it's been sent to Parliament and Parliament changed it. Nobody should be abrogating it. Nobody should seek to overthrow the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, an attempt, repeated act that the Barrow government has perpetrated since the very first day that they took over. But let's go back again. The TRRC Act was not wrong, because the TRRC Act didn't say we're going to go and investigate what President Jammeh did during the military period. They said to investigate the activities of the Jammeh government. So what the Justice Minister, Attorney General, and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Tambedu, commonly known as Bar Tambedu, should have told the Commission. And if he didn't tell them, the Commission should have known. This is why it's important to appoint a High Court judge as the chairman of the Commission, as stipulated in our Constitution. The chairman of the TRRC was not a High Court judge. He was never a High Court judge. And as far as the majority of Gambian people know, he had no qualifications to become a High Court judge, a requirement that the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia made clear, that the chairman of any commission of inquiry that's set should have been an ex-judge or a sitting judge or somebody who had the qualifications to become a judge of the High Court of the Republic of the Gambia. So if the Attorney General and the Minister of Justice failed to inform the Commission that we have limitations, we have a remit, we can investigate in terms of the TRRC, but we cannot look at the period of the junta because that is in direct violation of our Constitution. If the Justice Minister or the Attorney General failed to inform the Commission that from 1996 to 2017, they could investigate every other person except the President of the Republic of the Gambia, Because if they did, that would have been a contravention of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia in 1997. If the Justice Minister failed to absolve himself, failed to explain this to the Commission, a qualified chairman of the Commission would have said, hang on, we have got serious problems here, and the problems are of such a magnitude that we cannot continue investigating President Jammeh because we're violating our Constitution. That's what it says. Now, what does the Constitution of the Gambia say about the military junta between 1994 and 1996? The Constitution says that no commission should be set against the military junta at all. No commission should be set to investigate the activities of the military junta from 22nd of July 1994 to the 31st of December 1996. No commission should be set at all. That's said in Schedule 2, paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5. It further went to state that no criminal proceedings or civil proceedings should be instigated or entertained at all if they had anything to do with the military junta from 1994 to 1996. To 22nd of July 1994 to the 31st of December 1996. No commission should be set. No legal or civil proceedings should be entertained at all in relation to the junta. Now, you may like it, you may not like it. That's the law of the land at that particular time. At the beginning of this presentation, I did say we may not like the fox hunting ban. We may not like the illegal fishing ban in the Gambia. We may not like female circumcision in the Gambia, the laws against it. We may not like the domestic violence laws in the Gambia. That does not make them illegal. If you're not happy with them, go and tell your MP. Somebody else will tell their MP. Let them enact these laws in the House of Parliament before anything is done that contravenes them. You like it or don't like it, that's the absolute law, the supreme law of the land as I talk to you right now, because the Constitution of the Gambia and the entrenched clause of Schedule 2, paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5. Those laws are there, they're entrenched. Only a referendum will repeal those laws. There's no other way of removing them from the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. If Barrow government was smart, if they were wise, they were not greedy, they were not hungry, they were not angry when they took over, they would have known that the first process into finding true justice would be to review the laws of the Republic of the Gambia. They should have known that. All right? The fact that they didn't do that simply meant that Barrow government just put the cart before the horse. That's what happens when you have an incompetent president, an incompetent justice minister, and also incompetent commission of inquiry. If they had a high court judge at the TRRC, the matter would have been different. So now, the TRRC Act or the commission went ahead and abrogated the Gambian Constitution, a treasonable offense. You see, the irony of it is, when the TRRC Act was passed, immunity clauses were given to the commission. That's the chairman, deputy chairman, the lead counsel, and everyone that's involved at the TRRC was given immunity. So anything they did or didn't do during this process of the TRRC, they cannot be brought to book for it. They know what they did. They knew they overthrew the Gambian Constitution. So therefore, they will try and cover themselves with immunity inside the TRRC Act 2017. Can you believe this? The irony, the cheek, the temerity, the audacity of these people, the wickedness is unbelievable. They knew exactly what the book said. They are in no uncertain terms as to what the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia stated. The TRRC Act indeed has some immunity provisions in it. And those immunity provisions are to cover the illegal institution of the TRRC. The chairman of the TRRC is not qualified to be a chairman. The deputy chairman of TRRC had beef with Jame, and her daughter and her godson or her nephew or whoever, all of them had beef with Jame. Some of them picked up guns to go and kill or overthrow President Jame. I'll come to that in a minute. Let me complete this foundation I'm setting, the legal foundation on which this whole presentation will spring. All right? The TRRC has immunity covering the commission. So they don't respect the immunity that the junta has been given by the supreme law of the land. They don't want to respect the immunity that President Jammeh has been given from 1996 to 2017, and that's the supreme law of the land. But the TRRC Commission sought to insulate themselves from potential legal consequences of their illegal act. This is what's going on. So the TRRC knew they were engaged on an illegal expedition. They tried to insulate themselves. They absolutely ring-fenced themselves with a provision inside the TRRC Act that gave them immunity for what they did or didn't do, acts or omissions. But the supreme law of the land, the Republic of the Gambia, the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, set out constitutional provisions, immunities, indemnified the military junta, indemnified President Jammeh. They don't want to respect that. They abrogated it. They overthrew our constitution. Treason, high treason for that matter. But they want the TRRC Act to insulate them. They put barriers around so nobody can instigate legal proceedings against them at a later date. They will pay for it. Just like now, they're trampling on President Jammeh's rights, constitutional rights. One day, their rights will be trampled on. Again, I warned you about the use of the word precedents. They're setting a precedence. That precedence will come back to haunt them. The laws must not change because the subject matter is a subject of hate for some people. It must not change. Absolutely not at any point. Now, when the TRR, that's Schedule 2, paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5, set out categorically clear, entrenched, you can't change them. A referendum is the only means of changing Schedule 2, paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Therefore, any investigation, any commission, any civil or criminal proceeding that was brought against the military junta from 22nd of July 1994 to 31st of December 1996, any commission, any civil or criminal proceedings instigated will be null and void. The Gambian courthouses should throw it out and say to the government, go back and amend those constitutional provisions before you bring them back in here. After the 31st of December 1996, moving on to the 1st of January 1997, Section 69 of the Republic of the Gambia, the Constitution of the Gambia, 1997, Section 69. This is very crucial. This is why I said precedents will become crucial in this conversation. Oh, absolutely. Because Barrow is not educated. He's not experienced. He sleeps on the job. He absolutely cannot read and comprehend. He cannot figure out that the people who are employed by him are digging him in. Basically, they're burying him slowly. He's gone waist deep right now. Oh yes, Barrow is at the mercy of the gods. He cannot stop himself. No. It'll be people who will warn him that, you see, Section 69 that you're trying to avoid, not avoid, that your advisors, your Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and the dark forces, the dark foreign forces who've been the bane of Africa's progress, the dark foreign forces who are pushing you to abrogate the Gambian constitution for your political expediency, for the sake of vengeance, witch hunting against President Jammeh and his close associates. These same advisors are digging you in because you, Barrow, the day you lift the Section 69 immunity clause, will open the floodgates to all lawsuits, legal proceedings, any sort of challenge that comes from the Gambian public. Barrow will be answerable to it because Section 69 is the section that covers the ex-presidents and the serving presidents from facing legal or criminal proceedings. It's Section 69 of the Republic of the Constitution of the Gambia 1997. That's what's happening in there. Let Barrow go and lift it. You see that 669 million that went missing on the Barrow, the 400 million from Gambia Ports Authority, the millions that went missing from GRA, the treason, illegal Senegalese boots, military boots on Gambian soil, the 2 Senegalese bodyguards that Barrow has, all those treasonable offenses, Barrow will face them, will sue him. We'll be the first people to submit a legal suit against Barrow for the murder of Haruna Jatta in Kaniline, the murder of 3 youths in Faraba, and the injuries to 30, 40 other people, the killing of Sirifo Kujabi and dumping him in a well, and several other human rights violations since Barrow came. Yes, indeed, Barrow said he was happy that he gassed and beat up 3 years Jatna protesters. That's not the first time Barrow abused, tortured, hammered, killed protesters since he came to power. He's done it more times than President Jammeh did in his 22 years. Yes, President Jammeh's government only took lethal action against students in the year 2000. Barrow has done it in Kanilai, Barrow has done it in Faraba, in Busumbala, and 3 years Jotna in Carnifing End. So let Barrow dig himself in. Let him allow that Minister of Justice, Mr. Jallo, to dig a hole deep enough to bury him. Barrow is already waist height into that pit. They've already dug it for him. It's up to him. You take to Parliament, Barrow, your recommendations to lift Section 69 so that you can lay your glove on President Jammeh. You will not fathom, Barrow. You will never see a left hook coming that will knock you out. Oh, yeah, you will be floored legally. You go and change it. If you don't believe what I'm saying, go to the 1997 Constitution of the... In fact, this is not a subject of debate because when the election results were challenged in December, Barrow hurriedly tried to cover himself with Section 69 of the Constitution. Little did he know that Section 69 said challenges of electoral results are not covered under it. It only covers criminal and civil proceedings that have got nothing to do with elections. So now, the TRRC set out to breach Schedule 2, Paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5 of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. That's what the TRRC said. And if you're listening to this Facebook Live or YouTube Live from the United Kingdom, from any Commonwealth jurisdiction, all right, you take it from me. I have absolutely no motivation to lie. I don't have any motivation to lie. I don't need money. I don't need jobs. I don't need any kind of glory or fame or fortune. I don't need it. I am not defending President Jammeh. I'm defending the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, 1997. I am defending 2 million Gambian citizens, Jammeh included. That's what I'm doing. And nobody is going to stop me doing it. If you're getting irritated or agitated by this, you better get your heart basically calcified, fortified, because I am going to burst your aortas if the truth does indeed raise your heart blood pressure. I care little about who gets irritated by the truth. Yes, I'm a truth demon. I spew it with no fear or favor. I don't beg for anyone's favor. I fear nobody. I bow down to no man. Get a copy of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, Schedule 2, Paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5. get a copy of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, Section 69. Read it. Familiarize yourself with it. Look at the provisions of it. Look at the TRRC Act 2017. Familiarize yourself with it. You cannot knock my facts. It's not possible because they are well researched, well documented, and I know what I'm talking about. You go ahead. Today, President Jammeh is your subject of hate. Tomorrow, it will be Hussein Odawa. The day after, it will be Adam Abaro. The day after, it will be Sidi Ajata, depending on who comes up and accuses them of what. The one thing I'll not do if I ever became Gambian president, one thing I'll never do, no matter how much hate I had for the previous president, if the laws that we're about to apply on them are unconstitutional, I'll either get the constitution changed first or abandon my attempt to overthrow the Gambian constitution. Hate has got limits. Don't set precedents, bad precedents. Every time an African president lives, the saviors from the West, yes, the saviors are only one color because we black people seem to think we're not good enough. Somebody else has to come with a different color to tell you how to treat your brother, how to observe your constitution, how to speak up, how to run your countries. Because another black person telling you how you must respect your constitution, respect the laws of the land, must be hated, must be lying, must be saying somebody else with a different color, the savior, the stereotypical savior with long hair, blue eyes, blonde hair or brunette hair has to come and save the African people time and time again. We have to fight between ourselves, including breaking the laws of the land because we want one person to be shamed publicly or you want to jail them because you had personal beef. Who cares about your personal stuff? I care about people who break the law. Yes, I don't want to see anyone break the law. If you have a video, an audio, or a written piece of paper, or photographs that implicate President Jammeh beyond reasonable doubt, I will not defend President Jammeh. No way. I will not defend him. Supply it. From the very minute that TRRC sat, from the very minute that they stopped sitting, nobody came with any written proof, any video, any photo, any memo or email sent from President Jammeh to any commander to tell them to go and commit a wrong. It's hearsay. Oh, he sent me to do it. He ordered me to do this. I heard somebody talking on the phone saying, yes, Oga, the mission is completed. How do you know that person was not bluffing to make you think that he was actually talking to President Jammeh? That will not cut it in a law court. And you see, what Barrow government and the minister are doing, they're making Gambians believe that, oh, the TRRC white paper is a conviction. It's a foregone conclusion that President Jammeh is guilty. No, there's a long-winded process until the day that President Jammeh stands in that dock, if he ever does. A long process. But of course, Barrow government is running away from responsibility. They want the white savior with long hair, blonde hair or brunette hair, blue eyes or green eyes to come and say to them, yes, we can prosecute Jammeh on your behalf. We'll take him to the Hague and charge him for crimes that the Hague cannot prove, the Gambia government cannot prove. Whatever Jammeh is accused of hasn't met the threshold. They brought a new prosecutor who said, oh, they did actually meet a threshold. Today, just today, I read that the US police last year killed 1,114 American citizens, or some of them non-American, because I know some Gambians that were killed last year. I know Congolese that were killed earlier today. That's how many American security services killed in the United States last year. 1,114 individuals. They could have arrested them. They could have prosecuted them. Why did they kill them? But which African president or African nation or African organization is going to the United States to investigate George Bush Sr., Bill Clinton, George Bush Jr., Barack Obama, Donald Trump for assassinating the Iranian general illegally, and maybe Joe Biden hasn't started that yet. He's fighting a proxy war in Ukraine. But let's not distract ourselves. We go back to the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission of the Republic of the Gambia. The saviors have to come and say, oh yeah, we can prosecute him at The Hague. Because for us, it's always going to be vengeance. You see, if Barrow lifts that Section 69, I can go and sue President Jawara posthumously. Because criminality has got no statute of limitation. We can go back to 1981, 40 years ago, and charge President Jawara in his grave. God forbid, we don't want to go there. But we can do it legally. We can shame him if we have evidence that he gave the order for the Senegalese army to kill over 1,000 people in the Gambia in 1981. The prisoners who died in prison in 1981, 1982, the disease outbreak, the illegal detention of his main opposition rival between 1981 and 1982, and the state of emergency that PPP declared from July 1981 to 1985. And that state of emergency included the election period where they refused the opposition to carry out any campaign until 2 to 3 weeks before the election. They couldn't even gather the opposition figures. We can go back. The statute of limitation doesn't apply to criminal cases. We can wake people from the dead and charge them just like they done to the German war criminals. So the war criminals of 1981, we can charge them. That Section 69 is covering not just President Jammeh. It'll be covering President Jawara. It'll cover President Barrow. It'll cover the next president. But wait, hang on. They're going to jump. Oh, the American white dictator catcher who only catches black dictators. And now we know the people they label dictators in Africa. I don't want to go there. Let me concentrate on TRRC. The white man, the white dictator catcher who only catches black dictators. The white dictator catcher is from New York. All right? He's from New York. Right next to him is Donald Trump. Next door to him is Barack Obama. The door after is Bill Clinton. The one after that is George Bush, maybe 2 states down, 3 states down, or 4 states down to the south is Texas. George Bush Sr. No, they'll not be talking about that. It's always black people, Africa. We tear each other apart. We can never ever look at ways of doing things legally and do them in order. Barrow leaves, I take over, or somebody else takes over, or Fode Cho takes over, or Papa Osman takes over. They go and then jump on Barrow, lock him up, or chase him for something that they have no power to do. That's where we are. Yes, 1981 is the darkest, most depraved, the bloodiest period of Gambia's post-independence era. Several deaths. Who ordered the Senegalese army onto Gambian soil? To go and kill, bombard Gambians. Even when they go into the shops to buy something, they shoot and kill them. Many 1982 babies who've got no fathers. How many women were raped? How many were killed just because they go into the shop? And we all had accounts of Senegalese army shooting a house with mortar shells. Killing people just because they go into the grocery store because people were hungry. They need to go and buy something to eat. We can go back 40 years. Criminality has got no limit. They're still charging the Nazis from 1940s. When they catch them somewhere, they charge them. You go and lift Section 69, Barrow. It's up to you. Your advisors can help you. All right? Ladies and gentlemen, the Constitution made it absolutely clear. Schedule 2, paragraph 13, so paragraphs 1 to 5. Section 69 of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia states the serving president or ex-president cannot be subject of any commission, any civil or criminal proceedings for acts or omissions while they were serving in office. So anything that President Jammeh did from the 1st of January 1997 to the 21st of January 2017, exactly 20 years, cannot be subject to any commission of inquiry, cannot be subject of any civil or criminal proceedings. Rightly or wrongly, I do not know. What I know is that's what the Constitution says. And only 2/3 vote in the National Assembly can lift the immunity clause. so that they can now start trying Jammeh on Gambian soil. If Barrow lifts the clause so he can lay his glove on Jammeh, Barrow himself will be the first victim of a left hook from a direction that he never envisaged. I have no problems with justice. Do it properly. The law lays the manner in which cases should be investigated. The law lays the manner in which the law should be enforced. Do not breach it. Do not violate a law to enforce a law. Enforce the law legally, if you get what I'm saying. You cannot contravene your legislation, the Constitution, secondary legislation, just because you can. That's what Barrow government is doing. They're doing it just because they can. Jammeh Commission should have nothing to do with President Jammeh. They should have just investigated every other person that worked under President Jammeh from 1997 to 2017. Not President Jammeh. The TRRC should have done the same. 1st January 1997 to 21st January 2017. Investigate everyone else except the president. No, they broke it because they can. They got the power to. They can basically breach our constitution for the sake of it. Because of what? A witch hunt, vengeance, political expediency. They need to serve their lies. They lied that President Jammeh killed hundreds and thousands of Gambian people. They couldn't prove it. When they asked some witnesses at TRRC, oh, you kept saying Jammeh ordered you to do this. Executive order from Jammeh. Have you actually ever spoken to President Jammeh directly? The witnesses said, no, I haven't spoken to him. Somebody told me that somebody told them to go and do this and this and this and that. Executive order. How do you know that person, just because people have seen them stand with President Jammeh in one place, that person is not taking advantage of the fact that people have seen him shoulder to shoulder with Jammeh or working with Jammeh closely. They're taking advantage to basically trample the rights of people they don't like. They're rivals in society. How do you know? Oh, he ordered it. Any letter? No. Any memo? No. Any email? No. Any audio? No. Any video? No. Oh, he ordered it. Executive order. Executive order. And we found out this executive order was actually coming from few individuals. Because they were accusing each other. They were the ones saying, oh, executive order from the president. But the president, they never spoke to the president directly. Nobody's found an email, an audio, a video, a memo, or anything that said President Jammeh passed down this law. Was President Jammeh aware of it? Maybe. Did he investigate all of those disappearances and murders? Maybe. I don't know. For all you know, he's done. The records are there. But what is happening now is a cabal of people. Whatever is in there, they're going to withhold it from the public view. They will not want people to know the records at NIA that investigated every disappearance. They will want to know every case that was investigated by the police and what the conclusions were. They will keep that tight, because if they let that go out to the public will say, oh, so Jammeh has basically absolved himself of responsibility. If Jammeh was not involved in organizing that crime, he was not involved in perpetrating it or executing it or implementing it, he was not involved in covering it, he can have no command responsibility to answer to. He can bear no greater burden of that crime, because as a head of state, as a leader, he did what he could. At the moment, the only thing they can charge President Jammeh for is bearing the greater responsibility. In other words, command responsibility, because nobody actually said, I saw President Jammeh killing it, or he was at the scene where somebody was being killed. All they're saying is he ordered it, he ordered it. So what is it? Command responsibility, aka the greater responsibility of what happened under him. The greater responsibility of what happened under George Bush, who actually came on TV and said, I'm ordering the Iraq invasion. Clinton, who ordered the bombings in Kenya and Somalia and other places. Bush Sr., who went to invade Iraq and other places. Tony Blair, who went to Iraq with other people. They were on TV saying we ordered invasion of Iraq. President Jammeh never was on TV. We've never seen any tape of him saying, I ordered the troops to go and do that. 77 overthrows to try and overthrow President Jammeh, according to the archives. 77 times they've tried to overthrow him. That's what was said. I don't know the truth. I'm not in the National Intelligence Agency. I've never been in the police. I've never been in the army. That's what was said. About 15 of them, roughly, went to advanced stages. About 9 or 10 of them have been violent, leading to the loss of lives. That's what we hear. That's what's been written. We know some of them because they were public. We knew 11/11 was public. All right? We knew 2006 was public. A lot of them have confessed. We knew December 30th. There are many others in between. A lot of them were foiled at initial stages or intermediary stages. A few of them gone on to advanced stages where an actual assault or physical violence did take place. Farafenye, soldiers died. Kartong, soldiers died. Other places where the attacks took place. Endless. So you expect President Jammeh to turn up and say, okay, well, these are my attackers. Please give them a burger from McDonald's to eat, or please give them some Wonjo juice to drink, or please give them some ginger beer and let them chill. They came to violently overthrow his government because the foreign forces, the dark forces wanted him out, especially the last 10 years of President Jammeh, because I was aware at around about March 2017 that some of these people were actually paid by foreign players to go and overthrow Jammeh, especially the date that it was published that Gambia, Senegal, and Guinea-Bissau had good oil and gas reserves. Senegal accepted the oil deal. Guinea-Bissau accepted the oil deal. Jammeh said, never, I'm not going to sell my oil for 5%. I can keep my resources untapped, save my environment. You give me a good deal for the oil, you have it. You don't give me a good deal for the oil, leave it. Leave my resources untapped. They told him, we're going to change your regime 10 years before they finally succeeded in 2016. And who came to Adama Barrow's rescue? France. Yes, France came via Senegal and flew him out to Mali. They met there, whatever they discussed. That's the point at which Gambia was sold. Yes, France and Senegal own our sea now. Senegal sells our fishing licenses to the French, to EU, to Chinese, and to any other player that we can't even monitor. Senegal owns our security installations. Senegal bodyguards the President of the Republic of the Gambia. Senegal does everything they want in the Republic of the Gambia today with impunity, including fighting their helicopter gunships to go and shoot Gambian citizens who want to fetch firewood to cook for themselves. This is what happened. You try and overthrow the president, you get annihilated in the process, or you get arrested in the process, whatever happened. We saw Sana Sabali. The first day of his testimony, he said, we rounded up the coup plotters, we went and killed them, and then went and informed President Jammeh. He wasn't happy about it. That's what Sana Sabali said on the first day. Go and listen to it. He said Jammeh wasn't aware, he wasn't responsible. All he knew was there was a coup plot on the offing, and it was on, and they were fighting. When they rounded up the plotters, they went and exterminated them and then informed Jammeh. But overnight, whether Sana Sabali went and met some devils at the hotel, whatever sweetness they gave him, and the lead counsel of the TRRC made sure he repeated those questions to Sana Sabali so that he can erase his testimony the previous day. He changed the story and said, oh, President Jammeh was fully aware. We kept him informed. He's the one that said we should eliminate the coup plotters. 2 days, 2 different testimonies. The difference is a night. So who took sweetness to Sana Sabali overnight and changed the whole dynamic of his testimony the day before? The miracles of a night. How things can change overnight. Literally. And this has punctuated exactly how the TRRC conducted itself. So now that I've laid the legal parameters, the foundation for this presentation, I'll go into the constitution of the TRRC itself and how the TRRC has left a lot left to be desired of the way it conducted itself. We start with the Chief Executive Officer of the TRRC. Now we've established that the TRRC is illegal. It violated the Constitution of the Gambia on two separate occasions, two separate provisions. We go into the illegal constitution of the commission itself. We start with the Chief Executive Officer, somebody who calls himself Dr. Baba Gale Jallow. Dr. Baba Gale Jallow. Who is Dr. Baba Gale Jallow? His own employees at the independent newspaper in the Gambia said he knew that the stories he was writing against President Jammeh were false. He was the editor of the ill-fated independent newspaper. I think it's the Gillan guy. Gillan guy was testifying at TRRC. He said the editor knew that the story he was publishing against President Jammeh and President Jammeh's second wife and a couple of other stories were false. And therefore, they were publishing false information against President Jammeh when this Jallow was the editor of the defunct independent newspaper. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the TRRC. So listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. This guy was spreading fake news against President Jammeh, according to a witness, because still, I don't know if it's true or not. He had a problem with President Jammeh. He fled the country. He will have absolutely no legal responsibility to involve in anything, to involve in any matter that has to do with Jammeh legally. The former editor of the independent newspaper shouldn't have been given any responsibility when it came to investigating his foe, his enemy, his rival, President Jammeh. That's called conflict of interest as far as jurisprudence is concerned. He had a vested interest in ensuring that anything they found against Jammeh implicates Jammeh. He should not have been appointed as the Chief Executive Officer of the Truth, Reconciliation, Reparation Commission. This is why I said the illegality of the constitution of the commission itself. And this is exactly the same reason why I said the constitution of the TRRC is illegal. It violated the fundamental principles of law. If you have beef with somebody, you should never sit on their case to investigate it. You should never compile their report. You should never sit on as a magistrate. You should never sit as a judge against that person. Never. You cannot represent them. You cannot be on the other side to defend the client. Avoid conflict of interest. Mr. Baba Gale Jallow or Dr. Baba Gale Jallow had ulterior motives of getting himself involved in the TRRC as the Chief Executive Officer of that commission. Again, Mr. Tambadou, Ba Tambadou, the former Justice Minister who instituted the TRRC, knew very well that President Jammeh and the former editor of the independent newspaper had beef. They had a personal feud going between them. He shouldn't have appointed them to have anything to do with that commission. Therefore, his appointment is rendered null and void. It's been rendered illegal. You can't knock that. They don't do that in the United Kingdom. If they know you have some relation or prior beef, or even companies that you're part of, it's not a personal relationship, company that you're part of, I'm part of this company, and they go into legal litigation, both of us cannot be involved in any position of authority. It cannot, and I've shared these articles on my wall. I share them on my page. You go and check the United Kingdom. These are all documented. It's all written everywhere. Baba Gale Jallow was an illegal Chief Executive Officer. He should have had nothing to do with TRRC. In fact, he should have been a witness at that TRRC rather than being the Chief Executive Officer. We move on to the chairman of the TRRC. The Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia states the chairman of any commission should be a qualified high court judge in the Gambia or common law jurisdiction. They should be either qualified to be judges, sitting judges, or ex-judges, but up to the age of 70, nothing more than 70. They shouldn't be older than 70. That's what it says. Is Dr. Lamin Sise, the chairman of TRRC, a former judge? Not that we know of. Is he qualified to be a high court judge in the Gambia? Not that we know of. Is he a sitting judge in the Republic of the Gambia or any Commonwealth jurisdiction? No. He was an illegal chairman of the commission as far as the constitutional provisions of the Republic of the Gambia are concerned. Dr. Lamin Sise, who chaired the TRRC, shouldn't have been the chairman of the TRRC. Fact, bomb-proof, bulletproof, airproof, waterproof. You cannot knock it, even if you tried. Why are we allowing ourselves to turn the people, our processes, our governance, into nothing but Mickey Mouse? Why? Oh, because it's Jame. I don't like him. Jame said something about my tribe. Jame said something about Jola tribe, said something about Mandinka tribe, said something about Fulas, said something about, so be it. He can express himself. What he cannot do is discriminate or target a particular set of people and start killing them. That's genocide. We can all confirm that there was no genocide in the Gambia. There was none. There were no war crimes in the Gambia, as far as I'm concerned. So therefore, we're breaching our constitution. The constitution is irrelevant. We breached the two provisions in terms of setting up the commission. We breached another provision in terms of appointing the chairman of the commission. We go down to the deputy chairman of the commission, Adelaide Sose. Her daughter had beef with Jame until she had to flee the country and seek asylum somewhere. Her nephew or relative or godson, whatever you call it, Sana Sabali, had beef with Jame and he had to seek refuge elsewhere. So therefore, she had a vested interest in Jame and anything that has to do with Jame. And that ulterior motive, I will not say I know what's in her mind, but I can tell you, somewhere down in a dark corner, she must be harboring some sort of grief against Jame. And it will be pleasing for her to see Jame get his rights forfeited, seized, evidently, in broad daylight. She shouldn't have anything to do, any position of authority in the TRRC. Mr. Chairman Sise, Mr. Deputy Chairman or Vice Chairman Sose, Mr. Baba Gale Jallo, they should all have recused themselves from the commission. They would have had absolutely no position of authority in that TRRC. They violated the constitution. They absolutely shattered the fundamental principles of law. Like it or hate it, these are substantial facts. These are basically undisputed. I'm not making this up. You cannot knock my facts. This is true. I'm doing this Facebook Live for the general consumption of the world. I've written an article to this effect, and that article I'll be seeking to publish it in most of the global media so that people can know that the findings of the TRRC Gambia should be nothing they should take seriously. They should actually order the Republic of the Gambia to review the practices of the TRRC. Redo it afresh. Oh, hell, yeah, absolutely. Why would we not recommend a fresh investigation into the acts of the commission? The chief investigator of the TRRC, another significant position in the commission, the chief investigator was one of the gunmen who picked up guns from the United States, traveled all the way to Gambia to put bullets in President Jammeh's head on the 30th of December 2014. He was one of the coup plotters, the attackers of the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, the attackers of the state of the Gambia, wanted to overthrow and or kill President Jammeh. He was one of the gunmen. He traveled all the way from the United States to go and overthrow and or kill President Jammeh. He was appointed the chief investigator of the TRRC Gambia. Where in the world does this happen? Where? Where does this happen, ladies and gentlemen? How can you accept somebody who's picked up a gun to kill me or to overthrow me, to sit on a legal investigation into my matter, to bring up any recommendation against me that will be considered valid in terms of law? Where in the world is this acceptable? Why are we allowing ourselves to be treated like Mickey Mouse, conducting ourselves as if we're in a Mickey Mouse clubhouse? Why is anything remotely close to this allowed to make rounds in our judiciary? Why? The chief investigator of the TRRC is a gunman. He's somebody who's been charged for treason, has a criminal offense. United States convicted him. We brought him to the Gambia so he can investigate President Jammeh. What do you think would be the result? Help me, ladies and gentlemen. What do you think his recommendations would be? What would be the recommendations? Evidently, the recommendations are, we're going to prosecute President Jammeh. Under what law in the Gambia? Under no law in the Gambia. So now they want their white saviors to come and save them. Come and get President Jammeh and take him to The Hague, the house where only black people are tried. Black Africans, for that matter. Colin Powell didn't go there. Lloyd Austin is not going to go there. No, they're not going to charge them. Black Africans. The Prince of Saudi Arabia is not going to go there. Israeli prime ministers and presidents are not going to go to The Hague. Oh, Gambian people, there's no jurisdiction to charge President Jammeh on Gambian soil until that constitution is changed. Unless Section 69 is lifted, in which case we can find a prison cell for Barrow first, because he's going to go there first before President Jammeh. Oh yeah, absolutely. If that Section 69 is not lifted, you can forget about prosecuting Jammeh on Gambian soil until the constitution is amended. And when you amend it, we can posthumously charge people. We can charge President Jammeh. We can charge Adama Barrow, and we'll have our president's names etched on the walls of Gambia's prison, Mile 2. President Jawara charged for war crimes in 1981. President Jammeh charged for alleged rape, if he's convicted for rape or killing people, you can etch that there. Adama Barrow charged for murder and corruption and whatever, etched on the walls of our prison. Nobody will escape it. It's president. I will instigate one case. It doesn't take that much. To submit a case in the Gambia is simple. Oh, it's absolutely simple. It's not that great. It's not that difficult. Let's get the white saviors, because for us, we cannot believe ourselves. We need to get somebody with a different skin, long eyes, blonde or brunette, or blue eyes or green eyes, to come and say, yeah, I'm the dictator catcher. I only catch black dictators and send them to The Hague. That's what they say. That's what we want to do to ourselves. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the stage we're at. Gambia's justice minister should be frank with the Gambian public and the world. Adama Barrow should be frank with Gambian people and the world, that before they put a glove on President Jammeh, Section 69 of the Constitution need to be lifted first. And the minute they lift that section, I will submit a lawsuit against Adama Barrow on behalf of Haruna Jatta's family, on behalf of 19 other people who were hit by shrapnel or bullets in Kanilai, the same in Faraba, the same in Busumbala, the same with 3 years Jotna. And will charge Barrow for treason for bringing Senegalese boots to come and perpetrate crimes against Gambian citizens on Gambian soil. Oh, you can bank that. You can bet your house on it. Yeah, go and lift it. Oh, absolutely. You can go and lift it. No problems with that. If the Gambian population and the MPs think, yeah, it's wise to lift Section 69, why not? They are the people's representatives. If we want to go and lift Schedule 2 Paragraph 13, subparagraphs 1 to 5, via a referendum. Why not? If the majority of 75% or more voted for it, we go for it. This is what the law of the land states. The TRRC should look at other people. Let them forget President Jammeh for now. Let them forget about the military junta for now until those changes are made. And the Justice Minister of the Republic of the Gambia should make this absolutely clear, that we made mistakes by appointing the wrong people into that commission, and therefore the findings of the commission will find it difficult to pass the test when legal proceedings start. No evidence that came out of that TRRC should be taken seriously in any serious judiciary. It should not. But you can go and do it because President Jammeh is your enemy. One day will come, somebody else will be the enemy. Another day will come, somebody else will be the enemy. Oh, no doubt. You do it. We're waiting. We have got several crimes that we're waiting. Actually, Barrow government has accrued more than 10,000 victims now. Can you believe that? In just 5 years, 10,000 or more victims. Actually, more than 10,000. Because 10,000 people were affected by the illegal Senegalese war on Gambian soil in Fonyi alone. 10,000 people. So now imagine the people who were wrongly dismissed by Barrow, the people who were killed or injured in Kanilai, Faraba, Busumbala, 3 years Jotna. Imagine the other people who were picked up and arrested and charged like Omar Toure and other people. APRC people who are picked up and detained and charged for no reason. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Even last week, Barrow government allowed Senegalese helicopter gunships to come and shoot 40 people and injure them, 6 of them. Put shrapnel in their bodies. The same thing they did in Kantora, twice now in Kantora, or more. Come and arrest Gambian citizens on Gambian soil or shoot them and damage their shoulders from bullet wounds. Senegalese army is doing what they want on Gambian soil with impunity. And the former interior minister said there's a good contingent of Senegalese forces on Gambian soil. Barrow's own interior minister, who came in outside of the mandate of ECOWAS, they were not brought on Gambian soil via an act of parliament. So therefore, they are on Gambia on an illegal occupation and they're shooting Gambian citizens with impunity. Barrow is committing treason. But wait, hang on, it's Africa, isn't it? We're going to fight between ourselves. We're going to arrest each other and send them so that the white people can sit with their Cuban cigars laughing. Yeah, look at these African idiots. This Hague, Russia is not part of the Hague. Israel is not part of the Hague. United States is not part of the Hague. Who are committing the worst crimes on planet Earth these days? Who are committing the most heinous crimes on planet Earth today? You're not going to get President Jammeh. You won't get it. Before you get to President Jammeh, several people will go to that prison, including the former Justice Minister of the Gambia, Batambadu, including the current Justice Minister who's not telling Gambian people the truth. Parliament needs to sit and lift that immunity. If you want to send President Jammeh to Ghana or another place, you go and do it. After all, it's Africa. That's what we do. We fight between ourselves to please the dark forces, to please the deep state, to please our masters. 450 years later, we cannot tick without looking for a savior to fly in with a different color, skin color, different hair texture, different eye color to come and save us. This is why the continent is not moving. You want a savior to come and tell you, oh, I am the dictator catcher. Next door to him is a dictator. 2 doors down is 4 blocks down is another dictator. No, he's only interested in catching black dictators, black Africans. Because you know why? We are fools. We'll never wake up. That slavish mentality. Thankfully, we have now registered the United States of Africa, starting in Kenya as the first headquarters. We want to purge that mental delusions that we have about people from outside coming to save us. The Russian conflict, special operation in Ukraine. Russia is about 144 million people. Ukraine is about 44 million people. 180 million people between the two countries. and the world is going into recession. The world is facing hunger, famine, food shortages. Africa is 1.4 billion people with arable land, with limitless natural resources. If we united and traded as a bloc and got good value for our commodities, we will be the superpower without needing bullets. But no, let's fight. While we're fighting, the other person, the savior, is coming in the cover of dark or sending in fake jihadists draped up as Arabs, but they're actually blue-eyed, green-eyed, long hair, blonde hair, brunette hair, coming in draped up like Arab jihadists, and they're only interested in putting jihadists in gold, diamond, oil, and gas-rich areas. No other places. Yeah, wait, they'll come and save us because we black people are useless. We fight, and a stranger will come and inherit our property. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's fight. Let's continue fighting. We need to wake up. Africans have got the penchant of that old cliche, much ado about nothing. We have the ability to ruin ourselves. We can never seem to go a step beyond that. Self-destruction. But you want to go and chase President Jammeh, you want to spend 150 million on TRRC and then find it in the toilet paper, in the toilet bowl, you go and do it. It's up to you. Oh, yeah. Do it. So, self-gratification. You want to say, oh, President Jammeh has been jailed. Fine. If President Jammeh has got strong evidence, if there's strong evidence to say, yeah, you ordered this, he ordered that, why not? So why then are you excluding the two judges you accused of being mercenary judges? Because the judges wrote to the ECOWAS court and said that Gambia government refused to hear their testimony. You know why the TRRC refused the Nigerian judges who were in the Gambia, the Commonwealth judges, to go to TRRC? Those judges have got a lot of records. Ladies and gentlemen, that I wanted to cover the judges one separately, and I'll cover it. The two judges that took Barrow government to ECOWAS court to declare the TRRC null and void, illegal, yeah? The two judges have got a lot of record as to why some of these people who were jailed were actually charged, prosecuted, sentenced, and jailed. That's why they call them mercenary judges. Because everyone who attempted a coup, anyone who attempted something dirty, the rampant corruption that was happening on the Barrow, Jammeh was punishing the corrupt heads. Those judges will deal with them in accordance with the Gambian laws. They said those are mercenary judges. So now the justice minister has excluded them from punishment because he's afraid of the ramifications of punishing the Commonwealth judges that came to the Republic of the Gambia. Those judges have got so much evidence that the day they're going to try and prosecute them, the whole courthouses will be on fire. Absolutely. Now they've excluded, we want to give respect to our bilateral partners. No, a criminal is a criminal. If you believe that they're criminals, why do you care what bilateral relationship is there? Is that why Barrow freed the French rapist? Is that why he freed the Norwegian pedophile? Is that why he freed the Senegalese murderers? Is that why he's not investigating the illegal Senegalese forces who've been killing people and shooting people in Fonyi? Because why? They're bad. So you can free a murderer, you can free killers, you can free rapists and pedophiles because you have bilateral relationships with another country. That's what the Gambian justice minister. But the truth is, he knows those judges know a lot. And now the spotlight is on. For all you know, they're going to offer those judges $50 million each, or half of it, or a decent amount anyway, to get them to withdraw the cases. Because this is going to be an embarrassment. And Barrow himself admitted to bribing MPs. I'm not saying he's going to go and bribe those Nigerian judges who went to ECOWAS court. I'm not saying that at all. But don't put it past these people. They don't know God. They don't know the law. They breach it. They contravene it. They basically trample on the legislation in the Gambia just because they want to deal with the people they don't like. So why? Why then did they exclude those judges? Why did they free the SIS director? Why did they free the former interior minister who was in the police? Ladies and gentlemen, look, this has been a case of if you don't have any backing, if you're not related with people, yeah, the coup plotters who killed Gambian soldiers in Kartong, in Farafenye, all those people are free. They've been given amnesty. Yeah? But Jammeh who crossed them to keep the peace in our Republic of the Gambia. And indeed, 1994 to 2017 January was the most peaceful era in Gambia's history. Crime rate was 0.00 something. No civil war. Everyone was safe. Man or woman, old or young, white or black. You walked the streets of Gambia at 2 a.m. with whatever valuables you had, and Gambia was safe. Now, look at Gambia now. Even Barrow's own chief of protocol was robbed in broad daylight. Every day, several murders in the country. Crime rate is rampant. Houses are no longer safe. The streets are run by criminals. The government is run by criminals. Senegal runs everything. They're taking over our financial institutions, our economy, our security, our maritime, our state house. Every single thing is dominated by the Senegalese people. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope I set the tone for my next presentations of Facebook Live. I'll go into the Nigerian judges one because that's a whole new ball game. It's a complete topic of its own. The two judges they accused as mercenary judges, they have a wealth of knowledge. They know exactly what happened in the government. Bear in mind, all these judges have got their own records and portfolio and files of cases they sat on or they sat over. Gambia government knows. Don't be surprised not to hear about this case again. They might be offering all sorts of stuff for those judges to withdraw their cases because this is going to be damaging. The Gambia truth, anything but the truth, reconciliation, anything but reconciliation, this should have been called Gambia's Reparation Commission because there's no truth to it legally. There's no truth to it as far as many testimonies are concerned. And there's no reconciliation. There's no turn for reconciliation. What this was is, oh, crime wolf. Crime, yes, there are genuine victims. Yes, 100% there are genuine victims. I never said there was none. And I never said I was going to cover up real perpetrators where the evidence is compelling. I will not cover anyone. I said that before. I am setting the standard set by our constitution, set by our law books. That's what I'm setting here. All right? So now, the judges know a lot. They've excluded them. I will not be surprised if nobody hears about that ECOWAS case because the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, or let's call it the Reparation Commission, because as far as I'm concerned, there's no truth to it legally, and in many cases morally. All right? There's no reconciliation. Absolutely. The tone of it has not been conciliatory. So what this is, cry wolf, oh, I'm a victim. I was slapped by a police officer and Jammeh ordered it. So therefore, I should get $13,000. I'm a victim. Then they paid them. They were paid even before half of the sittings were made. They were paid even before the recommendations came out. They were paid even before the white paper came out. They have been paid even before prosecution started. How do you know those testimonies were correct? They were true. They contradicted each other. A lot of witnesses contradicted each other. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been here too long, and therefore, I'm going to end this conversation. I wanted to set the foundation so that the world will know, so that the average Gambian who's been deceived will know, so that everyone will be at the same pace with me, so that next time I come to the nitty-gritty, what were the recommendations? How they're going to implement them? Who are the players in it? I'll come to that on a separate day. For now, all I wanted was to get that foundation sprawling across the ground so we can all walk at the same pace and understand exactly what the game is. And indeed, this is a game being played. This is a game that involves Gambian people. But the benefactors of this game, the people who walk away with large amounts of money in this game, are few. The real killers who went and killed Gambian soldiers, Gambian security forces, Gambian civilians have walked free. The people who fought against them to keep the country peaceful are about to be taken to court illegally. The irony of it, it's shocking. The people who were in uniform and fought while we slept to keep Gambia safe are about to be prosecuted. The people who came and attacked them are walking free. And indeed, the commission also jumped the coup d'etat of 30th of December 2014. They said, oh, we were told that December 2014, 30th of December 2014 coup should not be included. Oh, we were told that the Farafenya attack should not be included. We are not going to call people who've been adversely mentioned to come and give their side of the story. I mean, brothers and sisters, for the love of God, for the sake of Islam, for the sake of Christianity, for the sake of Judaism, for the sake of whatever religion you follow, paganism or whatever religion you believe in, let's be honest. Let's please be honest for once. The people who came and attacked the state are walking free. The people who swore to allegiance to the state and to defend the state at all costs are about to be prosecuted. Just because the state was attacked and they took appropriate action to crush the attack. They're going to face prosecution. The attackers are walking free. Oh, they said 1996 attack in Farafenye is not part of our mandate. Was it not part of July 22nd, 1994 to 21st January 2017? It was. The attack in Farafenye, their brothers attacked Gambia again from Kartong. They skipped that Kartong attack. They said, oh, that's not part of our jurisdiction. Because the people in that commission, their brothers were the ones that attacked Kartong and killed a Gambian soldier. Oh, they said, oh, that's not part of our jurisdiction. December 30th, 2014, their own brothers and sisters were the ones that attacked the state of the Gambia. They said, oh, that's not part of our jurisdiction. Was it in between 22nd July 1994 and 21st January 2017? Yes, indeed. The TRRC Act was passed to investigate all activities during that period. They skipped 3 or 4 significant events during that period. Why? Because it's their own brothers. This is why people who are conflicted, where there's conflict of interest, should not have been in that commission. This is the product, the fruit of conflict of interest. The process becomes flawed, the findings get biased, the recommendations become a witch hunt. Nothing but vengeful political convenience, donor convenience, and nothing but spite, as spiteful as a devil. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I bring this Facebook Live to a conclusion. I'll come back again and discuss specific topics going forward. But from this minute on, whether you're from the Gambia or you're from outside of the Gambia, believe this, the TRRC, or what I would now call going forward, the Reparation Commission, the Gambia's Reparation Commission is nothing short of illegal. It abrogated the constitution in 3 different provisions. 1, for the military junta. 2nd, for serving an ex-president. 3rd, for the appointment of commissioners. And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I bring this conclusion or the presentation to a close. Have a very good night and have a very fantastic end to this week. I'll come back again at some point when time is available. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Thank you. Thank you very much, my YouTubers. This is my first presentation on YouTube. How do I end it again?